Good morning, everybody. My name is Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. Somehow, that feels like I'm defining myself as someone with Parkinson's. It's a fact that I have Parkinson's. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I have Parkinson's, but it's kind of like I have to explain why I am the way I am. It's like some people would look at me and go, she's got a bolt loose or something. She's wiggling around, or, my daughter says it's only me that thinks that. And maybe it is only me that thinks that. But I am self-conscious of it. And so that's the reason that I introduced myself that way, is because I feel that it does define a little bit about who I have turned into. It's not who I always was, but it's who I have turned into. And unfortunately, things are going to come down the pike that I'm not going to like, and I'm going to have to accept them. So anyway, Parkinson's is a progressive disease. It affects everyone individually. Not everybody gets every symptom. There's a wide range of symptoms. Thankfully, we don't all get the same things. Some of the things I go, please don't let me get. Some of them I go, well, I'm going to have to deal with it if that's happened. So there's basically 5 stages. Now, what's very important to note, it takes a different amount of time to get to each of those stages. Not everybody gets to stage 5. Some people have things that happen before that. But you can live a long life with Parkinson's. You can live a fulfilling life. You just have to manage things. And when symptoms come that you can't manage, then your family has to step in and know what you wish to have happen. My family has said that they want my husband and I to go live with them when we can no longer live on our own. I love the fact that they want that. And I don't think that I mind living with my children, but I certainly am not ready for that now. And I don't want them to feel that they have to do that if I become a lot of work. I want them to know that I am fine if they have to put me in a facility. I'm fine with that. It's not what I would wish for myself, but I will accept that. It's not their lot in life to have to do looking after me. I love that they will, but we'll see. We'll see down the road, not right now. Stage 1, early stage. Long time people don't even know they have Parkinson's. They can have it for quite a while. Their symptoms are very mild, but they start having symptoms, and it's usually one side of the body. For me, I had a stroke, so I had one side that was compromised anyway, and that side, of course, being weak. Oh, geez, I nearly knocked you over. That side being weak was the side that it was noticeable on. I didn't notice straight away that I had something else going on. I thought the things that were happening to me were from the stroke. The stroke was very sudden. I had a stroke while I was in bed. I got up in the morning. I had some trouble getting out of bed. I went to the refrigerator and I couldn't pull the door open. I thought, well, that's very strange. So I said to my husband, I said, something wrong. I said, I can't open the door. So he opened the door for me. He thought maybe the door was stuck. And I reached in to try and get the milk, and I couldn't hold the milk. But I could hold it with my left hand. And he said, we better phone the doctor. So he phoned the physician, and the nurse said, get her in right now. So we went to the doctor's office, and he had one look at me, and he said, go straight to the hospital. He said, you need to be seen. He says, I believe you're having a stroke or have had a stroke. There's a golden hour when you have a stroke that if you can get some medicine in you, they can reverse a lot of things. I didn't make the golden hour, but I didn't have a lot of, I didn't even stay in the hospital, to tell you the truth. I found out and I went home. It wasn't like this horrible thing that, was there. And then I started rehab and I started to improve. And I did a year's worth of rehab, and I was getting a little bit better and whatnot. And then somebody said to me, I was going walking, and somebody said to me, Darlene, why don't you swing your arms when you walk? I said, I didn't know I wasn't. And they said, no, you're not. your arms are just kind of hanging there. And I said, oh, I took a note of that. I said, I don't know, I made a conscious effort of thinking I'd swing my arms. When I couldn't do that, I bought some walking poles. I thought, well, that will make my arms go, you know. I'm ever the thinker. I tried that for a while. And then I realized I couldn't turn around very good. And I would have to do like a 10-point turn to try and turn around. And I thought, something really wrong. So I went to the doctor and he said, darling, I've told you, you have a stroke. It's going to take a long time to get this back. And I said, you know what? I understand that. But I said, if you have a stroke and you go through rehab and you are getting better and progressing, you don't go backwards for no reason. I said, I didn't keep on going forwards. I not only came to a stop, I'm going backwards. He said, you are? He said, and I said, yes. I said, I can't turn around. He said, okay. He said, let me see you turn around. I did a little demonstration. He said, I still think you'll be all right. So anyway, I went home and I said to my husband, I'm not all right. You know in your heart if you're not all right. So I waited a few more weeks, started noting a few things, and then I said, I'm going to do what I would usually do. I'll do a little research. And I looked things up on the internet, and I knew that I had to get everything verified by a doctor. And I narrowed it down to 3 things. And I said to Bill, I think I know what it is from this, but I'm going to not say, do I have this? I'm going to say, how about this or this or this? I give him 3 choices to sort of say, maybe there's some thinking going on in that girl's head. So I went in, and I knew there was one of them I did not want. I have a cousin who had that. I did not want that. I had one of them that I have heard is up and down all the time, and I didn't want that. And then there was Parkinson's, and I knew nothing about Parkinson's. So I didn't know whether I wanted that or not, but I knew I didn't want ALS. You can't breathe sometimes, and like right now I'm having some trouble breathing, and that scares me. So therefore I knew that was not a diagnosis I wanted. MS is very close to Parkinson's. I thought that could have been the issue, but I seem to have been a little bit old for that diagnosis. And I didn't know anything about Parkinson's. So I went in and I said to him, there is something definitely wrong with me. I said, I know you think it's the stroke, but I'm going to say there is something wrong and I want you to investigate it. And I was crying. And he said, okay, you tell me what is happening. And I told him again about not turning around. And it was like I saw a light bulb going on in his eyes. And he said to me, do you have any problem writing? And I said, yes, I have problems writing. I said, it's minuscule. I said, you can't see it. I said, it never used to be like that. It's gone tiny and I can't make it go big. Now, this is big writing. The reason it's big writing is messy. The reason it's big writing is because I can't see it if it's not. And if it's minuscule and I write, it's just sort of like a line that goes along. You know when you get your driver's license, you have to sign that thing that it's like on a glass slate? It wouldn't even read my signature. It was so small. I had to make it bigger for that. Anyway, I said, yes, I have some trouble with that. And he said to me, I know what the problem is. You need to see a neurologist. And he said, you saw a neurologist when you had your stroke. He is my friend. He's only in town 1 day a month. And I happen to know he's in town today at the hospital. I know because I'm going golfing with him this afternoon. I'm going to phone him. This was just before lunch. He says, I'm going to phone him and tell him I need him to see you today. And I said, okay. He says, so just go straight over there. He will see you. So I thought, that's very strange that this neurologist is going to see me right away. But anyway, fine. But I'd seen him before, so I was comfortable with it. So my husband and I are sitting in the waiting room. And he comes to the door of his office and he says, Darlene, come on in. Well, it took me a little minute to get up and turn the corner and go down the hall and sat down, and he said, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but I believe that you have Parkinson's. And I said, you've done no blood work, you've done no tests, you've done nothing, but you know that I have this? Like, how do you know that? And he said, there are things that are Parkinson or Parkinsonian related. He said, we will do all the tests on you and we will confirm. But he said, I watched you walk in here. He says, I know what you could do when you saw me when you had the stroke. And I can see what you can't do now. And he says, you do have Parkinson's. And then he said, he was the one that said to me, you'll be happy if we can get you 10 good years. That was the man that I said, I'm not very happy about that. No, I don't want 10, I want 25. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that was the diagnosis. We were moving shortly after that. I got a new neurologist here, and yes, it was confirmed. Early stage, symptoms are mild, they're on the right side. Can last for a long time. Stage 2 is also considered early stage, but now both sides are affected. You're still able to do your daily tasks, but your symptoms are getting worsened. But it's becoming difficult to walk. And what does this say? Okay, I thought it said pool pasture. It says poor posture. I tell you, my writing. Poor posture is becoming apparent. People will say, oh, you know, starting stooping over. Yeah, so that becomes apparent. Stage 3 is considered mid-stage. Your balance is definitely related or are weakened. Your other symptoms are now becoming present. You're still independent, but significantly impaired by the symptoms. You're having trouble brushing your teeth. You're having trouble taking care of your hair. You have trouble putting your socks on. These are things that are quite common. Everybody's different, but those are quite common. That's considered mid-stage. Later stage, stage 4. You are no longer able to live independently. You need assistance for just about every task. You are severely disabled. You are noticeably impaired. I fall somewhere between 3 and 4 myself. I'm still independent, but I'm losing it quick. So somewhere between 3 and 4. Stage 5, not everybody reaches stage 5, but if you do reach stage 5, you're unable to stand or walk. You are confined to your bed or a chair, and you are usually in a facility. And that is that. So what are you going to do about it when somebody tells you that? Okay, I promise I'm going to be quick here. Action plan. I said, you need to have an action plan. You can't just go, all right, thank you, and do nothing, because then it'll progress very fast. You can do things that make it better for you. Action plan. Stimulate your brain with intellectual activity. Read something new. Learn something new. Just do Sudoku, do crosswords. Just keep your brain going. Aerobic activity daily. I can't tell you how important exercise is. I hate exercise. Hate it. But it is very important. The last 3 days, or 4 days, I have been really busy around here. And 2 days before Thanksgiving, I did a whole bunch of stuff around here. Thanksgiving Day, we had company and we had a lovely visit with everybody. Today, I was busy trying to straighten up and get things back. And I was doing much better. Very tired. I way overdid it. But I was feeling much better. Had much less time sitting rigid in my chair. Aerobic activity daily. Use a device to remember your medicine times. I call mine Alice. It tells me when to take my medicines. Not that you could forget to take your medicine, because your body lets you know you need your medicine. You're sitting there waiting for it. But sometimes you forget to change your patch, or sometimes you're sleeping, and if you wait too long for that medicine, then you're not going to have as effective a dose. So when that voice comes, it tells you to do it. Those are things that are very simple to do. Keep your rooms well lit to help to avoid falling. You get up in the dark, you're going to stumble around. Don't have any mats on the floor, for heaven's sakes. Don't put a rug down. But keep your rooms well lit. At nighttime, don't be afraid to turn a light on to go to the washroom. Stay socially active. That's a hard one, especially right now. But I'm not a social person. I always say it's too people-y out there. I like to be at home. I don't like to do it. It's important. It's important to keep social. Join a support group. You do not need to go to a support group that is in person. You can do it online. You can do it with a friend. You can do it with your kids. You need to have a support group. And that said, I'm going to tell a very quick little story. What was my story going to be? I really don't have a brain here. I'm going to just look. I have it written down. See, I wouldn't remember anything if it wasn't written down. Like I'm telling you, I wouldn't remember anything. Oh, yes, I should have been able to just look up and know this one. We have a water machine that puts a big jug on the top, and the kids put that on for us. Well, you can buy the big jug or the one that's a little bit smaller. The little bit smaller is a bit easier for us to lift up and not have to have them do it. But we've gone back to having them do it because the smaller jug, it gets a waistline. You put it on, and the first couple of drinks, it starts to cave in the middle. And it gets smaller and smaller and smaller in the middle, like an hourglass. Well, one day we were saying, that is pretty dangerous. So we said, well, we've got to somehow get that expanded back out, because that's going to, be dangerous. We decided to drill a hole in the top where there was air at the top, because we figured that would just expand it back out. Well, we drilled a hole in the top, and the whole jug come crashing off of there, and however many liters that is went running all over the floor. We own 5 towels. We were trying to sop it up with these towels. Thankfully, I wasn't frozen in my chair, and we had all these towels and everything out. I said, we could have gone swimming in the living room, but we got it out. I said to Claudine, we need to buy the bigger jugs. We're not buying those small ones that collapse anymore. So anyway, yeah, we've got the bigger jugs now. Anyway, I really rattled on, and I'm sorry about that. But this is important information for people who really do want to know this. And for the rest of you, if you were turning it out, that's fine. You don't ever feel like you have to do it. But I appreciate every single person that comes and learns a little bit about this. It makes our lives so much better. We'll see you all tomorrow.